Alrighty, good morning everyone, or evening, depends on where you're at I guess. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of the TAPFX walkthrough. Last week, market's flat when I was planning on doing it, so we did the PC cleanup video, so hopefully that was helpful for some of y'all. So let's get off the bat. We're going to do a quick review, and then we're going to move into basically the re-entry. We're also going to focus in on today as a little bit of when not to trade this puppy, because if you trade it during times when the market is yuck, then you are definitely going to lose some money. So the first thing we're going to look at is let's take a look at when not to trade. So whenever you boot up, get started for the day, the first thing we should be looking at is first 1 minute charts. See this whole flat area? Not going to be trading that. This has moved into a little better, but you can see it is dropping like a ton of bricks. This is freaking GBP USD. It's been a nightmare. I would probably stay away from GBP. I have been recommending it. Looks like whatever it was, though, hit across the board. I wasn't aware of any news. I'll try not to get distracted here. Yeah, there's no news right now. 9 o'clock noon home sales, medium impact. So something just happened on the market. Alright, so let's get back to where we were. I don't want to lose focus here. Let's see if we can find one that is extremely ugly. Well, GBP should do it for us. Now what we're looking at is you have inlines here, which is floating, and that came with the template. Whenever we see the market like this, and these are the hourly candles, if you don't have them, just shoot me an email, and I'll hook you up with them. But we can see it is completely flat right here. This is when you do not want to be trading, because you'll end up getting into a trade and it's going to drop down, and then you get into a trade here because it looks like it's going to drop down and it moves up, and then the same thing's going to keep happening to you, and it's just going to be over. You're going to get a loss. Now this weird move, I'm going to have to find a pair that didn't do a move so we can talk about entry and re-entry. But this is what the 1 minute chart is there to just basically give you a guide on when to get in, when to not get in. And if the 1 minute chart looks flat like this, it's definitely a no-go type of situation. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Yeah, let's just do object list. Control A, delete. Okay. Oops, I gotta close that window. Okay, so next up, let's take a look at the chart. Now, yeah, if I could do it right. So during this time, this is it right here. It is moving up and down. What are we looking at? First thing. So we get to our Renko charts. The first thing we want to look at, average candle size down here. My average candle size is above 4, so that is a go. That's a green light for taking trades. But then, if we look at over here, and this actually doesn't look too bad. So most of my candles, this bottom line right here is 1 minute. And this top line here is 5 minute. We can see that this thing it's kind of like a roller coaster. It's going fast, then slow, and then it picks up pace, then it starts getting faster and slower. This is GBP, and it was flat during this time, so most likely I would not be touching it. And even when we get over to here, this candle here, where things started to break out, it's yuck. This would be the first time I started watching it, but we just had that weird move, so now I know that I'm not trading. I'm going to sit back and watch. Okay, but aside from that, so how do we determine when to trade and when to get in? Again, this is a review, and then we're going to go into more detail. Here's our slow and our fast. If we're going to take a trade, we want the fast to be above the slow for a buy, and we'd want this fast to be below the slow for a sell. If we are horizontal though, ranging, we just ignore it. You can see what's happening. It's going up, down. With another hint of this, price is touching our fast and our slow quite a bit. When we get into a trade, what we want is an upward movement like this. Even though that was some weird spike, that's what we want. Let's look at another chart. God, that is... Look at that crap. That is just odd. I wonder what's going on. Okay, so again, if we look at the chart, here's our flat section. We would want to stay out. This broke range. When I'm saying it broke range, here was the range. So we might have gotten into a trade here and lost our ass, or maybe not. It was about a 7.5 pip move, so we could have possibly made a few pips or not. But we could have taken a loss there. Now, if we would have broken range here and gotten in, would have been fine. It would have been 15 pips up. But then we should have seen this weird-ass action, and we'd say, oh, hell no, I'm not jumping back in this bitch for a bit. So if we take a look at it over here, now this whole movement's just right here in the last few minutes. So remember to compare Renko to your minute charts so you can see. But If we take a look back here, this is when it was flat. And remember, we're only getting about 7.5 pips. Now, this kind of, it kind of ruined it with this weird movement for me to take a look at charts real time. But so we get to the chart. What's the first thing we're looking at? Candle size 3, 4, and 6. So it is a go. Candle movement. You can see the market's flipped out here. Everything below 1 minute for this whole thing. Literally, these all took a couple seconds to form. Yuck. Sorry, my cereal. I had grape nuts. But if we look back, 1 minute candles up to 5. Now yesterday when I showed you, remember how slow it was? We're getting 5 and 15 minute candles. So even though it's flat, we still have this one as a go because it is moving fast enough and the candle size is there. So we just need to wait for a good setup. We'll get into setups here in a minute. Let's look at the next chart real quick. UJ looks good for entry along this. Went flat here for a little bit and then down, and then this weird ass movement that I don't know why. We can see again here, look at all these below 1 minute. Now UJ has some warning signs on it compared to what Euro used to look like. If we look back in this section, look at this is over 50. This is the 15-minute line. This was slow as hell. Candle size is slow as hell. Candle size is slow as hell. So let's start it up. Average candle size is good. It's above 4 or above 3. It's almost 4. We'll say the average is almost 4. Next, if we look at candle speeds, it was shit all the way to here, and then all of a sudden with this weird movement it picked up. Okay, next chart, USD CHF. Looks a little better, and again we have the weird movement. This is across the board. I want to see something real quick. I'm going to go to Forex Factory and see if it shows what happened. ECB almost certain to keep buying bonds beyond March. Give me a sec, let me put that in there. Reuters released a story headlining, central bank sources state that ECB is almost certain to keep buying bonds beyond March. However, they are also likely to change program rules, change the capital key issues limit, and yield floor are under consideration. So that's what happened there. It was a high-impact breaking news. It wasn't scheduled. All right, so until that breakout, USD CHF was looking pretty good on the 1 minute. So let's go over here and take a look at it. What do we have? We got an average about 4 pips per candle. Candle time-wise, 1 minute line, 5 minute line, 15 minute line. This one was borderline because we got a bunch of candles above 5 minutes. 5 minutes isn't too bad, but literally it can take a while. Up above 15, and these are all came into play here, and then it went apeshit with that Reuters, whatever it is, the news release, the unscheduled one. Okay, so that's what you should be doing with each pair, and every time you jump to a pair, look at it. Just keep it in mind so you know what's going on with the pairs. It's the simplest way to give you a green light or a red light to trade or not to trade. Because even if we look back here, these were almost 30-minute candles. Yes, we had entry here. And let's zoom in, and we'll take a look at how this flew if you were watching the chart. So let's go back to when we finally do get an entry. So we do get an entry over here, but let's look at time. We're sitting at 30 minute plus, 30 minute plus, a little less than 30 minutes, and a little less than 30 minutes. Now if we're watching the charts or we've frickin' fallen asleep by now, here's our first initial entry would be, the first thing to look at for initial entry would be here. So this is the candle. After this candle closed, we'd be looking at it. So what are we looking at for a strong initial entry? 1, price is below the slow, price is below the fast. Fast is now below the slow. Now the green and red color, we're not too concerned about that. It is below it. What this is saying is that it didn't cross the 50. Because this is 100, this is a 10 or 12, and there's an imaginary 50 there that you can't see. If this is red, it's below the 50. So if you wanted to be really cautious, you could wait till here. But it's crossed, so we could jump in here, no issues. let's follow this along then. So here's the candle. Let's say our goal is 10. So it's this candle here. I should have been drawing lines. Meh. So here, let's do it this way. This was our sell. I was hoping to take live trades, but after that move, I'm going to chill for a minute because I don't know what the hell happened. And market's probably going to react weird to it. And this was our exit. We'll make it yellow as the exit. So here's our first 10 pips. We're fine. We're out. What didn't go wrong with the trade? Well, it didn't dip back up, or else we would have got out early to protect our investment. So price comes back down. So what are we looking for? Well, a number of things could happen here. One, it hits it, closes below it again. So we could take this as a re-entry. Personally, I would want something like this, but you could take it like this. It did touch it, but this candle here is, let's say, this is where I would most likely start watching because it's a nice clear close into it. It goes up one more, so we're not doing anything. We get a close below. Not doing anything, not doing anything. Now this one honestly is probably the one that I would look to get in on. So I started watching here, watching. Close to damn enough. It closed below it. Yay. So this was our re-entry. Now, with re-entry, guys, I'm not looking to take a full 10 pips typically. Unless this is a kind of a light trend downwards, I could stretch it out as much as I want like this, and I still got kind of a light trend. Now it turns into a heavier trend down. But I'm looking to take approximately 4 to 6 pips out of this. I really could care less if I get a full 10. Now, if candle prices start to fly, like right here, I'm probably going to pull something. But I'm gonna be sitting here watching this. That candle forms. I did entry. I probably missed this candle because it looks like it formed in about a half a second. So realistically speaking, this was our entry, and then the bitch pops up. So this is our entry. And what are we looking for to get out of it on these? I'm looking for a close above. Just like this was our entry candle, I'm looking for a nice close above the line. So yes, I could keep this open. This would be almost probably I might get out, or we could let it run down. But let's say this was our entry, and we went down here, 7.5 pips. At some point, I probably jumped out of that bitch. But if not, we let it run. It goes to 9.1. If you haven't gotten out by this candle, you're being a little greedy. Again, I watch these trades. I don't let them run just willy-nilly on their own. So yellow is okay. We'll do this red as the entry because that was the more realistic where I think I would have gotten it. Because I probably would have hit sell, but it probably wouldn't have picked it to the next candle. So here's our second. And price comes up. Blah. We would have got out here. Remember, the bottom of that candle gave us almost 9.1 pips. So if that isn't enough for you, you're being a little greedy. This one doesn't give me the close I'm looking at to get out of the trade, though. So if it was still running, then it would have ran down here, and it would definitely would have given me my 10 pips. Okay, so next, what we're waiting for, let's look for another one. I'm going to take this one, and we'll drag it over, so that way I don't have to keep drawing lines. And that one's almost, but this one looks better. So here's our re-entry. Price is moving down. We don't get a close above. And so let's measure it out. This was a slow-moving candle, and this was a slow-moving candle. So I will say that we got entry at the end of this one. I'm trying to be realistic with it. It dropped 13.5 pips. We would have been an out. So that would have been a clean, easy trade. Price comes up again. Now here we go. Let's see when shit goes south. So let's say this one isn't an almost. See how this one and this one are almost below? I want like at 90% of the candle below my entry. So let's take a look. What happens here? Here is my entry. Bam. I think, hey, I'm getting what, a third or fourth entry. Let's rock this shit. And what happens? Price goes up. Now, the first thing is... Oh, shit. I just erased all my lines. Oh, well. Let's go back. So, this is my entry. No. What are we looking to do then? And let's see if this is going to even be likely. So, it drops down here. Next candle takes almost 5 minutes to form. Price comes up here. It's not right here would be where my hard stop is, because I would have dragged it down to here because this is the previous swing high. So my hard stop, and what I mean by hard stop is this is where my actual stop loss would be. My hard stop would have been here because of the previous swing high. So my hard stop would have been here, and I would have had a 10 pip take profit below it. So we always have take profit and stop loss in to protect it. But price moves up, I'm like, well, it didn't hit it. Might just be a pullback because look, we had a pullback and then down. It might work out, might not. Next candle, we really need to watch it then. And next candle, we are out. So this candle here, I was out. And let's see what that gives us. Where is... We'll just make it Dodger blue for the hell of it. Then we're out. So what kind of loss did we take? About a 7.8 pip. Probably more in the 6 pip range, though, because of once I hit entry, it looks like it spiked back up. My entry would have been somewhere on this candle. But that's fine. It could have... Either way, we're 6 or 7 pips in a loss on that one. And now, what are we in? We're in a no trade zone this whole time here. No trade here. No trade here. The fast has not crossed over yet. Now, if we were watching, we could have taken an entry here, and let's see if we would have got stopped out. 9.3, and yes, we would have gotten stopped out here. So let's move along. Let's say we took entry here. We would have got stopped out here. Most likely, though, you could have set your hard stop for here, which is about 8.8 pips up. So you would have got stopped out right there, which is, let me move. So somewhere around there we would have gotten stopped out. Now we get in it again. So we're watching. We have an entry candle here. Now guys, if re-entry is difficult for you, just do the initial entry then. It's no big deal. These re-entries are designed to be smaller trades. Okay, so we got in here. Now let's watch price. It comes down. We're 1.5 in the money. Moves. 5.96, nowhere near. And it goes down. So we should have been able to get out of that. Candles were all moving relatively fast. About maybe a 10-15 minute trade there. So at some point before this blue line, you should have gotten out of your re-entry trade. Now, by this point, price is moving up, down, we don't get it, down, here's another re-entry. But if we look at the 1 minute, it's all apeshit here. So we shouldn't be in this because it's apeshit. I'm just trying to show examples of what we're doing. We need to pay attention to the 1 minute, though, because it went apeshit off that unscheduled news release. So like I said, I wouldn't be trading here. Okay, so that kind of covers it for re-entry. I'm going to be getting a little more in-depth when I can do it actually live, but I wanted to get in, because I promised this one last week, and it's already Wednesday, because Monday I was just feeling like hell. Tuesday Tuesday I was a little bit busy with news, and we did a webinar on that. And today was the first day, but that little blurb there. So tomorrow I'll probably try and trade live, and we'll talk about re-entry live. So you get this way, you'll have an idea what I'm looking for, and tomorrow you'll be able to see it in action. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. In 25 minutes, we do have a news release. It's oil, and I'm going to talk about news a little bit in depth today. Some of you are doing awesome at it. Some of you I haven't gotten any feedback on, but I mean, if you're not in the news program, I highly recommend getting into it. I mean, it's so goddamn easy. Like we were talking about yesterday, it doesn't involve emotions. You don't have to know dick about price action, support and resist levels, moving averages, nothing. All you have to do is follow the course and make your money. But again, we'll talk about that when I get in there, because I have some concerns though with people not following directions. All right, guys, enjoy. This one's gonna go out in the email because I want everyone to see it. Alright, thanks a lot, guys, and you all have a great day. And gals. I always say guys, but forget the gals. Y'all have a great day. And I'll be back in about 10 minutes with the news.